We are in the era of the Eras tour. Zach did not go make it out because he hates Swifties. I know he's a Beyonce fan. He's got his tickets for the Renaissance one.
Beehive all the way.
But, bro, I'm not a secret fan. I've been public about it. If you look at my old A to Z videos, I used to have that poster of her back in my old room. I might have to go back to my old room to replace it with one of these. The Queen, bro. I don't know how else to put it. The pop star that has been crushing records when it comes to her tour has now come out and crushed records when it comes to the fall movie season. It was really interesting seeing all of the movies that moved away from her release, because there was a point where before she came out, a lot of movies had set their schedules for October, and then the moment that she announced, everything just like scattered away. And I didn't realize it until I was working on the Let Me Explain for it, but I'm sure if you went to go see anything, you probably heard the fans next door, because that's exactly what happened to me in Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah, it's like when Barbie was huge and you could show up at the movie theater and know, oh, they are here for Barbie for sure. They're all in pink, matching pink. Shirts or whatever. It's got that vibe too, except maybe it's more of like a level of excitement or a demographics vibe. But yeah, there's a lot of energy around the movie, and it certainly was like a huge event. I know you talked about it a little bit on the video you just posted to Let Me Explain, but what did you make of the whole, I guess, minor controversy, if you want to call it that, around the people who had the gall to get up out of their seats at a movie theater during a concert film?
I mean, look, you know the Rocky Horror Picture Show, right?
Yeah.
People remember that's a thing. To me, this is that. They're just not 12 a.m. showings. The problem is that it's not people at midnight at a theater going crazy. It's in the middle of the day. They're 3 p.m., 5 p.m. if you're getting a rental, whatever it is. And these theaters don't have walls that are like that soundproof. It's like the Sound of Freedom fellows, when they went out and they realized, wow, theaters actually suck, and they suck so bad, they started making conspiracies. I think it's just them realizing, like, yo, they're that loud. My personal opinion on it is that for any other type of movie, yeah, you kind of got to chill. Yeah. But let's not act like they're being so much louder than your average Marvel movie. All that's happening is that I guess people are annoyed on the fan base, because in any other movie, that movie would still be just as loud. You'd be hearing it. You're just hearing everyone chanting now with it, but the movie would still be as loud. I couldn't hear people at my screening. I heard the movie. Like, when I was watching Killers of the Flower Moon, I had made a joke in the video, because I had recorded it before we watched it, that it was going to be her song Mean. Mm-hmm. I cannot even write this, Zach. I can't write this. It is during a spanking scene in the movie in full blast. Her song that's playing is Look What You Made Me Do. It was such peak. I wasn't even upset. I may be the only person who had actually kind of amplified in a meme-worthy way my screening for Killers of the Flower Moon. But I am kind of mixed on that.
I heard somebody else heard a bit of anti-hero during Killers as well, which might be
with that
fitting.
Beat?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, that'd be pretty good. Imagine like they contrast the drumming in Killers of the Flower Moon to the anti-hero
the Robbie Robertson
808s.
score.
That'd be crazy.
That's the remix.
What do you think about it, though?
I mean, I think that, different movies sort of set the template for how they're meant to be watched, right? Like, if you go to a Marvel movie, you're going to expect clapping during some big heroic moments, or when Cap picks up Thor's hammer. And when you go to, as you mentioned, Rocky Horror Picture Show, there's going to be participation, or a screening of The Room where they throw spoons at the screen, or RRR. We saw all the clips from some of those jubilant screenings last year where people got up and danced during the big sequences. It depends on the screening, and obviously, like, I shudder at the idea of having my experience with like the amazing new Martin Scorsese film in some way lessened because I hear a bunch of preteens in the room over from me. But I also can't begrudge them from enjoying the film the way that I think it's kind of meant to be enjoyed, like when I go to a concert, even if it's at a place that has seats, I want to stand, because that's how I, really feel myself feeling the music and enjoying it the most. And, it's obviously not behavior that we want to see carried into most other films, but I feel like this is a pretty exclusive phenomena, right? Like
Yeah.
maybe we'll get some similar things happening during the Beyonce concert film, but that's, again, it's a music movie, and I think it's different than your normal experience at the cinema. Maybe it's that we are both seeing this rise in like antisocial or upsetting behavior in movies, and then this gave people an excuse to get upset about it. But like, I think this happening at Taylor Swift is very different from like when I went to Gran Turismo and there was somebody FaceTiming for half of the movie.
Exactly. There's so much garbage things that already happen on a daily basis when you're such avid moviegoers like we are. But yeah, I see Josh had mentioned stop making sense. You know, were we gonna stop them from wearing those suits, dude, and bobbing side to side? It's okay. You want to go to these concert films to have fun. And what's interesting is like with a movie like this and the alternative type of content that they're putting into theaters, I think they're going to be showing more sports. Like that's not new, it's just not as prominent. But there are fights, you know, there are opera films, and each one is going to have a different audience. And like you were saying, is it really an issue, or is it people who just have a problem with a massive audience coming in? We saw it with Barbie. We weren't offended with it by Barbie. We all were in on the bit, right? But here it's like, I think they would have been just as loud. That if someone is complaining and they're upset because, oh, they're all dressed up, you don't say nothing when, like, Zach just put, you come in dressed up as Deadpool, you come dressed up as anything else. I think they were just upset because they didn't get these limited edition bracelets, Zach. Ooh. And I think for that, haters gonna hate. And yeah. Look, I thought it was a very fun concert film. I think because it's done in the perspective of it being just its shot between them as what's it called? Just a movie in general, not any behind the scenes, not something like what I'm assuming Beyonce's going to do, because they're saying that this movie wouldn't be eligible for awards because it's just a recording of that SoFi performance. Whereas Beyonce's is supposed to be the performance with a little behind the scenes. And I thought the Beyonce one that you did for Netflix, I don't know if you remember the name of that one.
Homecoming, like, I think it was.
Probably the way that they built that up, that is a cool way to get a behind the scenes stuff. I wanted to see a little bit more of that. You know, there's a moment when she like goes under and like is meant to swim across, but there's like a mechanic down below. That would be like probably for another documentary, right? I know she's got like a 3-week streaming deal, so after 3 weeks, she's going to be able to send that off and sell it to a streamer if she wanted to. And at that point, she could add extra stuff if she wanted to, any behind-the-scenes things. But as far as the theatrical one, it's just a concert film, and it's the best version of it that it could possibly be. I was not going to pay for those tickets. Mm-hmm. I could not pay for those tickets. I couldn't even find those tickets, right? But I think this is a perfect way to be able to have that concert out there for other people. And like I said, I think with sporting events, we see it always with those like Met Opera live events. Yeah. I was hearing people talk about what other things could be out there now that we're doing we're in this new era of like, you don't have to work with a studio to get something into a theater. AMC is now distributing it itself. I want to see comedy shows, bro.
Yeah. Well, like the Chris Rock special we got.
But even better than that, because the Chris Rock special, that sunk on Netflix. If you didn't see it live, like, it doesn't matter afterwards. They're also not getting their money's worth because people are already paying that subscription. Mm-hmm. But Dave Chappelle, he's got tickets right now that are steep as can be.
Right.
And I know you can't do it at the prime of the tour, but if you get it towards the end and you release it for like a one-night only thing where you live stream it from whatever his like final show is going to be, I think they could also pull a kind of bait and switch. I don't want to promote a bait and switch, but the idea of being able to go see it, the worry being that they're going to release, you know, clips of people recording it because they're not going to get their phones confiscated like they would at a stadium. But I remember watching the Rocky IV director's cut, and I paid money to go see that. It was a Fathom event. You can't use A-list or anything. And the moment we're sitting there, it opens up with a trailer that it's going to drop on Amazon Prime at midnight. And it's like, why am I here? I could have just seen it at home and own it. Right. I think you could do that for these comedy shows. Like,
totally.
You wait till the last stop. You have a one night event where people can see it in a theater, laugh collectively, and then the next day, if you're worried about it leaking, just have it ready to go somewhere.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of opportunities.
Mulaney's another one who he's probably a big enough name that he could justify it, and particularly his last special, Homecoming King. I think a lot of people were really anticipating that one because it was his return after a lot of personal struggles and stuff like that. So, and those were hard tickets to get too. I didn't see him when he went around. So yeah, maybe Taylor in one way is also just opening up the door to the possibilities of what we can get in the collective theatrical experience, right? Because seeing a movie in a theater isn't just about seeing a film. It's about seeing something with an audience that's all there invested in the same thing you are.
Yes, sir. I'm excited for it. Metallica did their live concert too, so I can't wait. Intercut coming live to a Dolby Theater near you.